Welcome to EdTech Tuesday. I'm Jennifer Gibson.
And I'm Rich Dixon.
Okay, today we're going to be sharing today's meet with you, which I absolutely love, but I'll let you talk about it.
All right, it's a free resource that's available through the web at todaysmeet.com. And one of the things that's great about this is it is a back channel. And what that means is it's a web page that facilitates simultaneous conversations online. So you can have students that might have access to a one-to-one device, such as an iPad,
Right.
Chromebook, laptop, anything else, and they can be making comments about your presentation
and I like
or
that
other people's.
you point out here that it's not device specific because it is a web-based service. You've got this opportunity to use it with anyone, and even somebody that might not be in that classroom setting. They could be remote and participating on a Today's Meet.
What's great about this is with any back channel service, including Today's Meet, we can make what could be potentially a more passive learning environment more active by having students contribute their ideas and collaborate with one another through a resource like this. Let's take a look, Jennifer, at an example of how we recently used one during a presentation for other teachers.
And with this example, you're going to notice this is also a great tool for using with a PLC, your whole staff, during a staff meeting, district-wide. It's a great way to share and collaborate, and I just love. So let's take a look at what we have here.
What we did is we asked a number of different questions of the participants in our PD session. And so what we did is we got these responses back. The details don't really matter, but what does, for the purposes of this demonstration, but what does matter is that you can start to see that a number of different people that are listed here down below, their names, have been able to participate through adding their thoughts while we were presenting to a large group. So it allowed a lot of different people to be more active and contemplating responses.
And teaching each other. Like you see in this question, what ed camps do you suggest in California? Well, right there, people can respond to that, and we don't have to be the person that has all the information. In this society and where we are now, everyone can share in the dialogue and teaching each other. So this is one of those ways that you get to do that.
And it records everything as a running transcript. In fact, at the very end, when you're done, if you want to archive and save or even print out or post online something, you can just click on transcript, and we automatically get a transcript of everybody's comments, and it goes on and on. So that gives you a rough idea of what happens here. Let's talk now and transition into how this works and how to set it up. You simply come here to this website. You don't need to log in or create an account. Again, it's free. And you can name your room anything. So for the purposes of today, let's just call this EdTech Tuesday.
Okay.
And you can see that we have a URL here, a web page address. And you can copy this down and either write it on a whiteboard or post it.
And I notice there's a little green check mark, and I'm assuming that means it's available.
Right. You may end up putting in a name such as English, for example, and find that somebody else has that URL in use and in play, and then you'll not be able to use it, and you won't have that green check. Now, the next stage here is where it says close the room. And today's meet will automatically disappear or remove, I should say, all of the responses and your particular room that you set up after a given period of time. And you have some control over that. So we can choose to have this room open where we're receiving comments for 1 hour, or one of the other options that you see here.
And I want to point out something here really quick. My son is in junior high, and his teacher used this and really limited the time frame to 1 hour because she didn't want the students to be on all night, wanted just to have this quick 1 hour of time, and it was really exciting, and the parents were all involved. So that's one reason why you'd use a short period of time for something with students.
That way no one comes back and provides inappropriate comments.
And the teacher doesn't have to be monitoring it for 8 hours, let's say, but 1 hour is great for students.
And then again, if you want to capture that and archive that, simply hit transcript when you're done. So you go ahead and set that. I'm going to put 1 hour right now. I'm going to click create your room. Once that's complete, we get this blank slate. And so I'm going to start in. I'm going to say join after I enter my name, and then I can enter my first message. I can click say, and then everybody else that has access to this URL listed at the top, todaysmeet.com/edtechtuesday, will see this post, which says this is a test.
And I want to say that if you're projecting this like we do when we're doing a session, we'll have it projected on a screen, and oftentimes Rich and I like to run 2 screens where one screen might be a presentation, a slide deck, and the other screen is the today's meet. This is something that automatically updates as someone posts, so it could just be running through. You'll have to have 2 projectors if you want to do that, or an Apple TV and a projector.
And if you don't have 2 different projection devices or ways to show this to a whole class, if you do have a one-to-one environment, or you do have enough devices where there's small groups clustered around the screen and they're able to see it, you could have each one of those devices using todaysmeet.com and then whatever your URL, the rest of it is, showing on those devices.
That's
in
a
order
good
that
point.
everybody can still interact with that.
And it works with an iPhone or a Android, anything that has internet access. It's not an app. Again, it's
Correct.
a web-based service, but you can have people participating with a phone, a smartphone.
Okay, Jennifer, a lot of times we'd like to talk about pros and cons. I mean, pros
Yeah.
are free, obviously, easy
Right.
to use. Any cons, though? Anything
I
we
think
should look
cons
for?
would be, you know, really considering that you wouldn't do this without going through digital citizenship and talking about what it means to be a presence on something like this.
And appropriate interaction.
Right, right. And it is you know, a closed environment in the sense that they have to have the URL to get on, but you have to talk about how you present yourself. That if there is, let's say, a dialogue going and there's criticism, it's about the ideas and not the person. You know, you really got to go through and teach that to the students and, you know, talk about those things prior to starting something like this.
And another thing I'd like to bring up is that some of you might be wondering, why not use Twitter? What's nice here is that you don't have to understand hashtags. You don't have to start out any response with @ and then the correct Twitter account in order for it to show up. It's very easy to implement. Simply put in your comments right there. And then again, it's more private than Twitter as well, so you don't have to worry as much about
Well, and
outside
it's
people.
that moderation where it closes and then you have the transcript that you can then go through and look through, have a record of the comments and ideas that are being presented. You know, I see so many different things that this can be used for as far as pros, you know, ideas, having an idea session, a brainstorming session, you know, having people present ideas and then getting critiques about their speech or their presentation from their classmates. You know, lots of different things could go on with that. As far as cons, again, going back to that, I think that mainly it's about teaching how to use something like this. I think that, you know, it is going to go away, so I would recommend saving the transcript. You can download it into a PDF, and then you have a copy of that. But other than that, I'm not seeing a whole lot of cons.
No.
I'd say that you ideally would want to use this with, you know, 14 and up. I think you could use it with younger kids, but then you're going to really need to deal with privacy issues and parents, and so you'd have to talk to your IT department about approaching that. But 14 and up, I think it should be just fine.